Here you are, and welcome to McCone Hall here at the north end of campus, the class of 1954 gate. Here we are walking up to the actual McCone Hall, the actual entrance, just a few feet away from the north gate, very accessible. And we're going up the one level of stairs to the Department of Earth and Planetary Sciences. The bottom level does contain some displays. However, the Department of Earth and Planetary Sciences has a huge mineralogy display. Here, in fact, is a display of the mineralogy of North America, as well as different minerals. Here is history of mineralogy at UC Berkeley. So aside from actual samples, there is some wonderful literature that you can actually learn about. Here are some minerals. They have about 6 cases, I'd say, about 3 levels each, about 3 shelves each, sizes ranging from huge, coming up to very, very, very tiny samples, but everything is very easily accessible. Unfortunately, couldn't contact anyone to open the actual cases, but as you can see here, the display is just magnificent. And aside from actual mineral samples, there are examples of tools that have been used to harvest these actual minerals. And as I said earlier, there is wonderful literature to go along with your visual exploration. Here is a mineral map of California. And here are, in fact, stairs, but aside from stairs, there are elevators, so it is accessible to all people. And here we are at the Seismological Laboratory, the 2nd floor. Here we have, just like the first level, different display cases. Here in this one is the falling pin seismograph developed by oil companies. As you can see, there are an array of different pins of a variety of different lengths, and they of course fall when an earthquake hits. So sometimes, depending on the size of the earthquake, some pins will fall and some won't. This one in particular was a magnitude 4 earthquake, and only 1 pin fell. In the same display case, there are actual examples of earthquakes from this year that have hit. This one at the top, as you can see, is incomplete because the pin got caught. But aside from that, Rick did tell us about how the actual results are recorded, how the pen, which of course traces the waves, is actually heated, and it burns through the initial white layer of the paper to rest on the black layer. So what you see is really a burn transfer onto the paper. And these are both from this year. Inside the laboratory, you walk in, and door is our actual seismograms. These are no longer in use. They are mainly just for the public. However, you can jump and make your own earthquakes and see the waves that you produce. Now they, of course, have switched to mainly digital. Here, of course, there is a computer which demonstrates seismic waves, kind of dated program, but it's very cool nonetheless because you can see different earthquakes. Here in particular is an earthquake that happened in Turkey. And outside the hallway there is, on the ground, you can see an engraved actual record of an earthquake that happened in the Bay Area. Here is a framed version of it, and you can see the different waves and how they've traveled around the earth. So there's little pockets of knowledge everywhere here. And on the doors, that same wave is also reproduced there, on every single door in that department. Alongside the office, there are several display cases. This one in particular is a demonstration of the history of earthquakes in the Bay Area. The 1906 earthquake, as you can see here in pictures, the Leaning Tower of Pisa house in San Francisco. and the offset fence to the left. Here is the 1989 earthquake, and to the left you can see there is a demolished looking building that was actually a 4-story building that collapsed. So, and here you can see Rick told us that this is an actual recording of the 1989 earthquake that he in fact examined himself. So this is his personal record, and his professor looked at it and measured that it was a size 7, magnitude 7 earthquake. So a little piece of history here alongside is a map of variety of fault lines that we have on the Berkeley campus. Here is in relation to the stadium, and the same fault in relation to the campus. So slightly scary. Here is a map in relation to the whole Bay Area, and we were standing very close to that site, right along the fault. On the bottom floor, on the ground floor, if you walk down the stairs, there is the Weichert seismograph, developed in the 1900s. Here is an actual sample of a seismographic record, which got a little messed up. Someone ripped it too fast from the machines before the smoke could settle. But beautiful, beautiful displays here. On the outside again is the rock garden display, a nice chart and actual live samples, about 30. You can wander around, touch, sit, do whatever, divided into 3 areas. Of course, igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks. Here walking up is the remnants of an old laboratory, actually called Observatory Hill, right outside of McCone Hall. The remnants of this laboratory were not kept because of the actual history, but because of the valuable ivy, which is on the building. So here, Observatory Hill, former site of the Students' Observatory, completed in 1886, named in 1951 for Armin Anto Warschner, director of the observatory and chair of the astronomy department from 1900 to 1938. So a nice little placard right outside. History right outside the doors of McCone Hall, and here's another view of that old observatory, walking down the pathway, and of course there are the gates. And that is the end of our tour. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I spoke with Rick McKenzie, however he is retiring, but he is a great guide if you have any questions.